You've been doing everything right. You've cut the bread. You've stopped eating sugar. You've said goodbye to pasta, pizza, and everything your friends keep posting on Instagram. And yet every morning you step on the scale, hoping for something different, and nothing happens. Maybe you've even started questioning yourself. Maybe keto just doesn't work for me. Maybe my metabolism is broken. Maybe I'm one of those people who just can't lose weight. A few years ago, I had a conversation with someone who was living this exact reality. She had been on keto for nearly 3 months. Her carbs were consistently low. She was checking ketones. She was doing everything the internet told her to do. But she hadn't lost a single pound in over 5 weeks. Then she said something I'll never forget. "I don't understand. Everyone says keto turns your body into a fat-burning machine. Why am I still stuck?" The answer turned out to be surprisingly simple. And if you're frustrated with keto right now, there's a good chance it's affecting you too. Because the biggest mistake keto beginners make isn't eating too many carbs. It's eating too much fat. And once you understand why, everything starts to make sense. Let's back up for a second. When keto works well, it feels almost magical. Cravings often become easier to manage. Energy becomes more stable. Many people find themselves thinking about food less often. And for those trying to lose weight, body fat can begin coming off surprisingly consistently. That's the version of keto that gets celebrated online. What almost nobody talks about is the reason some people get stuck. Not because they're doing keto wrong, but because they're misunderstanding the purpose of dietary fat. And this is where one small shift in thinking changes everything. Most people hear the phrase high-fat diet and assume the goal is to eat as much fat as possible. More butter, more cheese, more cream, more fat bombs, more bulletproof coffee. The logic seems reasonable. If keto burns fat, then eating more fat must help. Not necessarily, because your body doesn't really care whether the fat it's burning came from your plate or from your waistline. That's the distinction that changes everything. Think of it this way. Imagine your body has access to 2 fuel tanks. One is the food you're eating today. The other is the body fat you've been trying to lose for years. If you constantly keep the first tank completely full, your body has much less reason to tap into the second one. That doesn't mean dietary fat is bad. Far from it. Dietary fat helps support hormones. It helps absorb important nutrients. It contributes to satiety. And for many people, it's an important part of maintaining ketosis. But fat isn't a fat loss accelerator. It's a fuel source. And that's where so many people accidentally get trapped. I remember talking to a keto dieter who started every morning with a large bulletproof coffee loaded with butter and heavy cream. Then came cheese snacks, extra oil on meals, fat bombs after dinner. Her carbs were incredibly low. She was almost certainly in ketosis. But she was also consuming hundreds and sometimes thousands of calories from added fats she didn't actually need. She wasn't failing keto. She was successfully burning the fat she was eating, just not the fat she wanted to lose. That distinction is incredibly important because ketosis and fat loss are not the same thing. You can absolutely be in ketosis and still stall your progress. What ultimately drives body fat reduction is creating a situation where your body needs additional energy and begins pulling more heavily from stored reserves. Ketosis can help make that process easier, but ketosis itself is not the finish line. And that's the mistake most people never hear about. The goal isn't to eat a lot of fat. The goal is to burn a lot of fat. Specifically, your own. Once that idea clicks, keto suddenly becomes much easier to navigate. You stop treating butter like a free food. You stop believing every hunger signal requires a fat bomb. You stop adding calories simply because they're keto approved. And you start using dietary fat strategically instead. Here's what I typically recommend to people who have stalled. Keep carbs low. Prioritize adequate protein. Then allow dietary fat to fill the gap without turning it into the centerpiece of every meal. Not low fat. Not no fat. Just enough fat. There's a huge difference. And if you've been stuck for weeks, try a simple experiment. For the next 7 days, keep your carbs where they are. Hit your protein target. Then reduce added fats by about 25 to 30%. Not the fat naturally found in foods. The extras. The butter on top, the extra cream, the handfuls of cheese between meals, the fat bomb desserts. Then pay attention. Watch your hunger. Watch your energy. Watch the scale. But more importantly, watch your waistline. Because this is often the moment people finally realize what was holding them back all along. And here's the reframe I want you to remember. Keto isn't a high-fat eating contest. It's a fat-burning strategy. Your body fat is the fuel you're trying to use. Your food is simply the tool that helps unlock access to it. Once you understand that distinction, keto stops feeling confusing, and progress often starts moving again.